Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. Are you here to go ahead and run questions for a disability hearing?
Yes.
Excellent. So let's go ahead and begin. Just a couple of disclaimers. So there's no attorney-client privilege. Make sure you use a fake name throughout the proceeding. And this will be exactly like as if you were in front of an administrative law judge. Are you ready to run the questions?
Yes, I think so.
Perfect. Go ahead and state your full name for the record.
Sandy Thomas.
Excellent. Now, help me out with this. What do you believe is your most severe impairment?
I have severe backaches, and I'm also going through a depression. I've been going through depression for the past about 7 years.
Okay. Okay. So we have depression and we have backache issues. Can you tell me what is the diagnostic impression, the medical term for why you have back issues?
Well, I initially had breast cancer back in 2010, and I had double mastectomy. I went through the I'm sorry, sometimes I get lost for words.
Sure.
Medication.
You're doing fine.
I'm sorry. The chemo and radiation, and I was forced due to the double mastectomy operation to sleep on my back for lots of years. I was finally able to sleep on my side after the surgery about 6 years later, maybe 7 years later, which affected my back.
Okay, gotcha.
So that was my initial problem. I related that issue to my doctor, and he sent me to therapy. Gave me medicine for the pain, but all that led also to depression because not getting sleep and just feeling not myself, not like a woman should feel, and I just it made me fall into a depressive state.
Okay, understood. So let's go through this though. When the judge is going to be asking about what is the diagnostic impression, the judge is looking for the bullet point as to what your back impairment comes from. Now you're saying, okay, there was the operation, there was the things going on related to why you had the operation, but what I'm looking, some sort of spinal canal issue, this sort of issue related to, where there's something outside of the back that was causing this, and I understand that you're thinking the breast, but in reality, I need to know exactly what the medical term is for why you have back problems.
When the doctor and they do your initial observations and analyzations, they never tell you directly what you have. It took a couple of different doctors to go to where they actually did x-ray, which of course they found out I had scoliosis, which is hereditary. My mother had it also.
Sure.
So I think it's due to the scoliosis that it was aggravated from me sleeping on my back, but there is no set reason or diagnosis from the doctor yet.
Okay. So what do you believe is your most severe impairment?
I think both of them, the depression as well as the backache. I complain a lot about backaches. I think they're both equal.
Okay. So explain to me, with the depression, are you currently taking medication for the depression?
I am taking the alprazolam, 10 milligrams, which is I think it's generic Xanax for my anxiety, and I take that not often. I can't take it as too. I don't want to get accustomed to it, but I do take that. It does have side effects, so I try not to take.
Any suicidal background, anything like that? Nope. Are you there?
Hello?
Oh, there you go. Any suicidal background tendency?
No, no suicidal background tendencies.
Okay, walk me through this. Other than the depression and the back issue, what other impairments do you have?
Other than the backache and depression, I can't say that I have any other because I don't. Like I said, I am a cancer survivor. That led to a depressive state of being. But I don't have anything per se other than those two that are my main problem.
Okay. Now walk me through this. So you have these back issues. Are there any orthopedic devices that have been prescribed to you at this time, such as crutch or walker, wheelchair, cane, anything like that?
No, not much.
Okay. And why do you feel that you haven't had need to go ahead and have a crutch, walker, wheelchair, or cane prescribed to you?
Well, I have a doctor that insists that I can do without that. Not that I have asked him for it, but he's never really asked me to get one or suggested I get one. My backaches are more related or hurt me more when I'm getting up in the morning. I'm stiff. I can't walk too fast. I don't need a walker per se all day, but when I do wake up in the morning, the early part of the day, my back is hurting.
Okay. What medication are you currently taking for pain?
I am taking the meloxicam, 15 milligram, which is for the back pain.
Okay. Okay. So now help me out with this. Okay. Are there any, orthopedic shoes, any braces that you wear to go ahead and assist you with your day-to-day activities?
Right now, I am in boots because I had an operation on my foot recently, so I am wearing boots right now, but nothing else.
Okay. And when are the boots likely to come off?
I don't know yet. Due to this COVID outbreak, I will probably be wearing this for a while because my doctor's appointment has been extended. My operation was back in February. Right now, I'm not walking too much because I'm trying to get these boots are uncomfortable, and I have help at home, my husband. So I don't really move around too much. I don't go anywhere.
Okay. But how far is anywhere? Because remember, the judge is going to be looking for a specific distance because we have to compare it to a code. So how many feet, how many meters, how many yards do you think you could walk before you'd have to stop and rest?
Yeah, I would say about 10 meters.
10 meters. And what happens after 10 meters?
But then, of course, I have to sit down. My back is hurting. I'm tired. I have no energy, so I'm tired. My foot hurts. My back hurts.
Okay. So walk me through this. You have these issues. There's no orthopedic device when it comes to a crutch, walker, wheelchair, cane. Around the house, do you have any difficulties with, for example, do you have to use any bars or perhaps a shower stool to be able to stand or sit during different activities?
Yes, I have a shower stool in the shower right now. And I have the walking cane that assists me when I take the boots off.
Okay.
And, yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. Now, so a couple of things I've noticed right off the bat with this claim. Your energy level is extremely low, and it almost pulls me in, but makes me kind of a little bit like it's an ongoing kind of rotation. I'm not super attaching to this claimant. I don't feel myself feeling bad for you. I don't feel myself connecting to you as a claimant to say, I feel her pain. I feel the issues that she's going through with her depression. So let's try this. Give me a little bit more energy And what I'm looking for are answers that are more specific than, like, time amounts as opposed to not long. Or I'm looking for distances as opposed to not very far. So let's go ahead and run a couple of questions. Ma'am, how long do you think you could stand before you would have to sit down?
I would say about 10 minutes.
About 10 minutes. Now, after 10 minutes, what happens?
I'm tired. I'm in pain. My back hurts. My foot hurts.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but be descriptive with your pain. What kind of pain?
A lower back pain, the knee area, my whole leg hurts.
Okay.
My foot area hurts.
Okay. So we've got foot, leg, but describe for me what the pain is like. Is it lightning-like? Is it shooting? Is it, a throbbing pain, a grinding pain? Is it a binding pain? What kind of pain is it?
Oh, it's a throbbing pain.
Okay.
Lower back is throbbing.
Okay.
Shooting pain.
Gotcha. Okay. So this throbbing pain that you have, the issues that you're experiencing, if you were to go ahead and take a break after standing for that amount of time, you took a break, let's say 5 to 10 minutes, would you be able to recuperate and then stand for another 10 minutes?
Yes. Yes, I can.
Okay, so
I can do a couple of things and then have to sit back and catch my after the 10 minutes again.
Okay, understood. So now walk me through this. You could go ahead and do that. I'm assuming you could do that throughout an 8-hour workday, right?
I could probably do 10 minutes, but then I would have to get up to move around a little bit. The back starts hurting. The shooting pains happen, and I have also problems with my arm due to lymph nodes that were removed. Mm-hmm. My right arm, which I utilize, that's my primary arm.
Okay.
And when I write, I have to shake off my arm because it goes numb, it goes dead. So that is also an issue.
Okay. Which arm?
My right.
Okay. Remember, when you're in the hearing, you always have to say left or right for any body part that you have two of. And the reason is that they're only recording audio. Through this, what kind of hobbies do you have? What do you do for fun?
I don't have hobbies. I've been, like I stayed in a depressed stage, so I don't have friends. I don't have hobbies. I don't have anything exciting going on in my life.
Okay. Do you have difficulty being around others?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Out of the following categories of people, who do you have difficulty with the most? Bosses, friends, family, co-workers, or the general public?
I would say I haven't worked in well over a year and a half. So it gets a little emotional around kids, a little tense. And again, I don't make friends. I'm in the house. I don't have friends.
Mm-hmm.
I think I deal more with my husband and my sisters. And that's it. My nieces. That's it.
Okay. So there's these individuals. You're having difficulty. You get along with family members and things like that you're close to. What if I asked you to go ahead and go to a medical facility and you had to take the bus to get to the medical facility? Would you have any difficulties with that?
I don't take the bus. I have the blessings of a husband. And I would have, again, I don't take the bus. I have help with him, from him.
Okay. But what if he wasn't available? How would you be able to do it?
I would have to call my sister.
To go on the bus with you? No, I'm saying only if you were allowed to go on the bus. Would you be able to take a bus ride? Would you be able to be around people? Would you be able to, interact with the bus driver? Would you know which stop to get off on?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would.
Okay. What if I asked you to go ahead?
I wouldn't have to talk.
Okay.
I wouldn't have to talk to the bus driver. I would just pay and sit down, but I wouldn't have a conversation.
Okay. What if I asked you to go ahead and cook for your family members? Make a recipe. Would you be able to cook for them?
No.
Okay. Why wouldn't you be able?
I don't have that ability. I have a little bit of confusion going on with the medicines I take. I have problems with memory. I can't do too much in the kitchen. I forget what I'm doing when I start doing something. If I put salt in it, I forget I put salt, so I put the salt away, and then I come back and put salt again, and those are problems with memory.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you this. What side effects do you get from your medications?
With the alprazolam, which is for the anxiety, I get dizzy. I have a lot of dizziness going. I have shortness of breath. I'm asthmatic also, so I have an inhalant. And it's just, I get confused a lot. Those are the side effects of the alprazolam. The meloxicam makes me have headaches, muscle aches.
Okay. All right. So here are some of the notes, because I want to give people a bunch of chances to go ahead and run questions. Here's some of the things that I noticed about the claim. First and foremost, I don't know realistically, because there's no mention, you didn't mention at any point MRIs, you didn't mention x-rays, you didn't mention anything about the specificity of your back other than it may have come originally from something. So I feel like I just don't know exactly what's going on with your back. In order for me to, really have a successful disability claim, the first thing that you've got to do is know what your diagnostic impression is. You sound like a very bright person. You sound like you've gone through some tough things. So I guess the first thing I would do is I would have a doctor go ahead and basically say, look, this is the result of, yes, yeah, I see right there, failed fusion surgery. This is the result of, such and such occurring in your back. And then I would basically go look at essentially 1.04 for the spinal-based issues under the musculoskeletal listings and see what they require. But right now, the way it feels, the way it just comes across is it feels very disjointed, difficulties, and I need to connect to that because I need to feel that emotional connection as an adjudicator to say, yeah, I believe her. I really genuinely believe that she has these problems. The vocal tendency sounds, it sounds okay. It sounds a little bit laissez-faire, but it sounds okay. It doesn't sound like you're in pain right now. It doesn't sound like you're having a difficult time sitting. We did the whole, okay, how far can you walk? How long can you stand? We didn't do the how long can you sit, but that would be the next, iteration of it. Then we go into how much could you lift, etc. So I felt like this is a pretty, good person for giving testimony. I just feel like you need a little bit of kind of testimony phrasing to maybe deliver it a little bit better. Other than that, the depression. First, there's no orthopedic device other than the shower stool that I could, key into. And there's got to be something that you use to balance yourself, that you use to hold your back up, take pressure off your back. There's got to be something as objective evidence. The depression. When it comes to the depression, I kind of feel like I don't know the origin story that well. I wasn't able to attach to it. I wasn't able to really feel like I could understand why you were suffering. You were telling me, well, I have these issues, and it just sounded like there wasn't much strength to your adjectives, your descriptive terms. Like when I was saying, okay, what kind of pain do you have? You have this type, this type, this type, this type. You gave me a location, and then you started to give me other types of words, but it felt energyless. And I feel like a lot of this is, I hate to say it, but it's giving the judge an opportunity to be a part of your life. So I'm going to get a little off track here. Just stick with me because I think this is important. All right. When it comes to explaining to somebody what's wrong with you, right? When it comes to explaining to somebody why you're having a difficult time, you have to make them a part of your world. I would honestly, for your particular situation, so you come across as very trustworthy. Like, I trust you. I just don't feel the emotions connected to your words. I don't feel like I'm invested. So the first thing I would do is I would look at people who were industry changers. industry changers for speech patterns, such as like Ralph Lauren. He was the first guy to make, kind of like cinematic qualities to lifestyle choices with clothing. You believed you were on a safari. You believed you were in a big, I think it's called a brownstone in Boston. You believed you were part of something special, and he made the clothing for that moment. And that was a situation, it was a story. You believed you were part of it. Or maybe Hans Zimmer, with the music, or Williams when it comes to film scores. Being able to understand the story, the background, what's going on, or perhaps Steven Spielberg, understanding how he's telling a story with visualizations. Because, I believe you have these issues. I'm a little concerned with how much medical background you have, how much, you do have the medication. I don't know what the amounts of the medication that are being prescribed, all those details, but I feel like it was just undersold to me, which is a terrible way to put it for somebody who's impaired. But I feel like you could do it, though. I feel like I would go research those individuals who learned how to tell a story. And I don't know, maybe like TED Talks or TEDx or whatever, those things of learning how to tell a story, because if you could do that, I would be much more on board. So the first thing was, okay, we need to have a diagnostic impression for the back. The next thing was, we need a better storytelling experience. The next thing is, when I said, okay, what other impairments do you have? That would have been a golden opportunity to say, well, I get anxious or have anxiety, or I panic attacks sometimes because I don't know what to do. Or, I have the difficulty with my hand, or the difficulty with my arm, and going into details about why you can't do things like, typing or grasping things, being able to hold something up. Always remember with hands are important. If you can show that your hands are truly impaired, then the bottom line here is this. There's two main veins that you have to focus on when explaining what's wrong with your hand. There's the gross manipulative functioning, which is like, you're grabbing something, you're putting it in your hand in total. And then there's fine manipulative functioning, which is like, doing little things, typing with your fingertips, rolling something very small. Always be able to explain both fine detail. I can't type on my phone. I can't type on a computer. I don't have the dexterity to really push through and show, and show with the judge. And another thing that would be really classic and important for this is to have some sort of brace for your arm, for your hand, that was prescribed by a doctor, So, yeah.
I have a lymphedema sleeve.
Sure.
And that kind of helps a little bit, so that's something that I will often.
Good.
So that's something I would. Will they give me time to explain all these things when I'm in front of the judge or on the phone with the judge?
So here's kind of the thing, and we're only doing a small thing right now, and your question is super, super valid. Do I have time to explain all of these different things? And the truth is you will, but you've got to be extremely organized. And I'm going to give you kind of a rubric to go by. The first thing I want you to be able to come out with are, what are your top 5 impairments? The next thing you've got to be able to come out with, which is, what objective evidence do you have for each impairment? The next thing I want you to come out with is, what medications do you take? What are they for? And what side effects you get from each. Right after you finish the side effects from your medication, you want to go into, what are the side effects or symptoms, that's what they're called. What are the side effects of your impairments? Like, how do they limit you on your daily experiences? The next thing, because remember, there's 2 parts to this whole game. It's showing why you can't do home stuff and showing why you can't also do work stuff. I want you to be able to go back to the jobs you had and explain why you couldn't do certain functions in those jobs.
Okay.
All right. Now, Madame, I'm going to go ahead and grab another claimant. If this helped you in any way, please, Google the disability resolution and leave the 5 stars if you could. And perfect. Have a wonderful, wonderful night, and I'll catch you later.
Thank you so kind.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye-bye.